Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is a bit different. What I've done is I've strapped a GoPro to the front and the back of my bike, and I'm going to take you on a typical ride, and we're going to see how badly or how well the cars behave. So a lot of the times on this channel I normally show the nice parts of China where the cycling is really good. So in this video I thought I'd show you the other side of it. To get to those good places for cycling, you obviously need to cycle on the main roads to get there, so this is just going to be a quick one to show you what it's like to do that. So we're just turning onto the main road now. This is a road I absolutely detest. On the right hand side there is actually a bike lane there, but it goes for about 500 meters and then you have to get onto this road anyway, so most of the time I can't be bothered with that. So yeah, this is a 4-lane road. The lane I'm in now is supposed to be a bus lane, I believe, but all the cars just sort of do whatever they want. So this is the sketchiest road around here, but to get to nice places I have to ride along it, so it's just one of those things you have to deal with. So switching to the back camera, you can see it's a pretty wide road and the cars are approaching at quite high speed. I'm normally going along this at about 30 kilometers an hour. Cars along this road are going like 80, 90 probably. So in the UK at least, you're supposed to give at least 1.5 meters when you're overtaking someone. Not just a cyclist, when you're overtaking anyone. That's the minimum distance. So I've been cycling in China for about over a year now. So I've become very used to these close passes, which you're probably going to see a lot of in this video. I have not ridden a bike in England for a long time, not on busy roads anyway. All the cycling I did in England was in the countryside where it's normally very relaxed and chill. So let me know what you think down below in the comments, if you think these passes are too close, whether you think they're safe or not. So wherever you are, it's always important to make sure you're as visible as possible. I always make sure I have a flashing red light on the back of my bike, and I always like to make sure I'm wearing something really bright as well. That way it's much easier for cars to see you. Just skip forward a little bit and now the cars are actually approaching. So the ones on the right hand side here, absolutely fine, no problem. It's a nice wide empty road, which should mean they have lots of space to overtake, right? Unfortunately that's not the case. As you can see here, this black car is approaching and yeah, not much space given at all. He barely even left his lane. But unfortunately that is the standard. That might be considered a really close pass back home in the UK, but here that's just normal. I ride about maybe a meter from the edge of the road, just about maybe 50 centimeters from this yellow line on the left hand side. This truck approaching now actually does a very good job. This is what a safe pass should be. He moves over into the other lane, at least halfway into it, and gives me loads of room. Good job, truck driver, very nice. The camera really makes it feel a lot slower than it is in real life. These cars are going very fast, but for some reason they look so slow on the video. Yeah, that red car that just passed wasn't very good. This one here seems to be giving a lot of room, which is quite nice. So far out of about 6 passes, 4 of them have been very close and 2 of them have been good. It's quite sad that the state of affairs is to count how many good passes there are rather than how many unsafe passes there are. But in all fairness, I've been riding on this road for a long time now and I've never had an accident, which is quite good. So pulling into this forward lane here, it's quite annoying when you have to pull in front of the cars because it's just difficult to judge whether they're going to stop and slow down for you. Fortunately everyone here did, so that wasn't too bad. The one problem which is really bad on Chinese roads is there is no sense of where to overtake. Everyone overtakes on the left, they overtake on the right, they just do what they want. And now we've got a bus coming up behind us. So I think the bus here did okay at this point. He's not trying to force the overtake when there's no space, which is quite considerate. So good job here, bus driver. He easily could have tried to squeeze me, but what does annoy me is he overtakes me at this point. He gives me enough space, but he then comes to a stop straight away. So then I just re-overtake him anyway, so I don't really understand what the point of that was. I assume he was trying to go fast just so he could make the traffic lights, but if you're a bus driver, surely you can see the traffic lights from a long way away, and you know, because there's a countdown on all the traffic lights here, you know when it's going to change from red to green. Right, pulling away from traffic lights, if you're not sprinting away from every traffic light, what are you doing? Easy 700 watts there. So let's see if the bus driver overtakes me nicely here. Not too bad, gives me half a lane, not too bad at all. Pulling away from the traffic lights is normally the worst bit, because you get a slight lead as you pull away and then all the traffic wants to filter past you and go as fast as they can, obviously. Got a white car approaching here. Actually, he's just moving into the other lane, so the advantage of having these really wide lane roads is that if there's space, they can give you an entire lane of space, which is always good. But when there's two cars parallel, then that's when the problems lie, because they're going to have to slow down to let you pass, like this here, the black and the white car. So I didn't get much space there because he couldn't pull out to his left. Got a little truck here approaching, and these ones are actually okay because they're such a thin vehicle that they can stay in the lane and still give you a solid amount of room. But now, coming up from behind, there is, I believe, an Audi, so expecting something extremely dangerous here. But to be honest with you, the Audi gave me a lot of time. I was actually moving over to the centre of the road as well because the lane splits again, and he waited, he didn't try to force it, so yeah, for an Audi driver, not bad at all. At this point I'm doing almost 40 kilometers an hour, so I don't think they're as agitated to be behind me as they would be if I was doing like 30 or something. So all of these cars coming past now actually gave me a solid amount of space. Even this big 4x4 here pulled over a bit. So approaching now, there is an obstruction, so I'm tracking the road doing some road work, so this is always dangerous when you've got to pull out into the fast traffic. Very dangerous here. Put your hand out, make sure you're signalling that you're going to come across, and normally the cars will slow down for you. Getting back into the right hand lane as quickly as possible. Now hopefully all the cars in the left hand lanes won't need to come back across, because there's no need to go back into this slower lane unless you're turning right. So another thing I've noticed is that people don't tend to have very good lane discipline. A lot of the time they sort of straddle between lanes, which is highly unsafe, but it just seems to be something people do in general here. So let's skip forward a bit. So I'm approaching the part of the road where I want to turn off, but this bit has a set of traffic lights which turn red for ages, so the traffic tends to get very blocked up here. Normally I would try to weave through the cars, but on this video where I'm complaining about drivers, I feel like I need to be a very good cyclist. So car pulling out here, you've got to just be careful, watch these guys, make sure they don't pull out in front of you. A lot of times they just don't notice you, and I am going 45 kilometers an hour, which is pretty fast, so on a bike it's quite difficult to stop quickly if someone does pull out in front of you. So yeah, this is where it gets a bit horrible, because a lot of the time there are taxis and people will get out on the right hand side, so hands covering the brakes at all time in case someone does open one of these doors, because that is a very likely risk. And here I decide I'm not squeezing up that gap, I'm just going to cycle on the pavement, as I am allowed to do in China. It's not against the law here, so you can really just do what you want on a bike, which is quite nice. Anyway, that's really it. I've got past most of the horrible bits of this road, and now I get to enjoy some really nice bike path. So stick around if you want to see that. Otherwise, be sure to hit like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.